This is K4SRQ, Bert here, Sarasota, Florida, programming the firmware of the FT-5DR. First of all, I think the FT and FT-5DR is referencing the programming switch that you have to change its position of when you want to program the radio. FT is freaking tiny, all right? It's a little tiny switch, and I'm having the most difficult time of getting that switch. And I'm a tech guy. I've taken apart iPhones and all sorts of stuff. This little switch is a problem. All right, I'm going to try it one more time while I'm right in front of you here. And then I'll probably pause the video till I get it. So you got to go in here. By the way, here's where it's at. Let me get a little flashlight here going so you can really get a good look at it. But it's inside the USB. Where am I at there? Inside the USB. Underneath. So I'll set it like this. Underneath the connector. Where is it? Underneath the connector. Can't probably see it anyway. But underneath that connector, there is a little tiny black switch. I'm going to try to make it seem that you can see it, because you can't. It's tiny. I mean, a paramecium would probably be able to use its tentacle to push it. That's how small this switch is. Hang on, I'm going to try this some more, and I'll get right back with you. All right, here it is. It's working. Got my different bands in there. Here are my buddies here in town. Got it jamming right now. I think there's no reason it on. Pretty good. This repeater's probably 15 miles away, 20 miles away. Look at the antenna, you know? Not much in the house. Great repeater, though. It's up like 1,500 feet, so no reason I shouldn't be in there, right? All right, so I'll turn this off for a minute so I can talk. I found a tool. I was using a SIM tool. If you ever mess with SIMs on your phone, where you had to take the SIM chip out and all that stuff, well, I had a SIM tool. You know, punch it in a little hole, and the SIM would pop out. You know, it just wasn't cutting it, man. It was terrible, and I spent hours on this thing, and I couldn't get it. You know, my hair was sort of like this by the time I got done. Let me tell you right now, I was like going crazy. Einstein without the brain, you know what I'm saying? Well, then I looked at my PC toolkit that I got, and I found this little guy here. It's plastic, it's pointy, and it works with that itty bitty switch that's in here really quick. Just able to stick it in, pop, boom, I was in action. So simply, once again, guys and ladies, it's the right tool that does the job. I don't know how many times my wife always tells me that too. Do you got the right tool? The right tool that does the job. And this is the tool that does the job. It comes in one of these like 1995 PC repair kits. They got all sorts of neat stuff in them. This little guy right here makes it a breeze to flip the switch in here for the programming switch. Now, my soapbox, if you will. Yaesu, you're killing me, man. You've got like this little bitty, tiny switch, for goodness sakes. Most of the hams in America are in their 50s and 60s, and we're sitting here, and some of them got that shake thing going on. I don't know what that's about, but it's probably they cooked with too much aluminum, but they're shaking and trying to do this stuff. I don't have the eyes anymore just because I'm old. I don't have the eyes anymore, so I have to put on my magnifiers here, this little set right here. Praise God we got this. This helps me out, you know, but that thing is too tiny. You guys, you know, it's 2023. Make it a software switch, will ya? Not a big deal. I think you can swing that. Or maybe some type of a little switch on top. I don't know. Make it easy for us. I really think it's a conspiracy by the Japanese and the Chinese to try to make us go nuts. But that's the way it is. I just sent in my Yaesu FT-DX10 for repair. Out of nowhere, all of a sudden it wants a firmware update. Well, I thought, all right, I'll go along with what you want, you know, give it what you want. Happy radio, happy me, I think. So anyway, I did the firmware update, and I didn't do anything. It took it, it read it, I restarted it, and then nothing. Wants another firmware update. Broke. Wasn't bricked, it was broke. So I had to send it off to Yaesu. You ready for the kicker on this? I live in Florida. Yaesu is in California. They don't have any mid-country or East Coast repair center. You got to ship it all the way to California because it's so close to Japan or wherever it is that they make these things. So I ship it off to California. I might as well have bought a plane ticket and taken it myself. It cost me $150 with half the coverage for insurance from UPS. If I needed full coverage, it would have been almost $200 to ship an FT-DX10 to California for warranty repair. It's terrible. It's awful, you guys. We need to stand up and start barking about this stuff to these companies. And Yaesu, I'm beginning to question the quality. I love the radio. Let me tell you something. That FT-DX10, a receiver like I've never used in my life. Amazing and incredible. Well, what good is it if it only lasts a month before it barfs? Just ridiculous. So here it is, the FT5 Drive Me Mad FT-5D R. Must have been done by a pirate, man. R, laddie. A little bitty switch is in here. You gotta find the right tool, you know. And once you do, you'll be able to get it to program. If you know how to fiddle around with the USB drivers with a Windows 3.1 interface kind of thing that it looks like. I mean, seriously, the software really needs some work. These guys make these things. They pack so much technology into a little box like this. Their software sucks, all right? I'm sorry, but it does. But they can do the technology. They just need to hire some actual programmers to make some decent software. Or RT systems. You know, they seem to do it pretty good. So I played around with CSV files. I played around with this and that and the other thing to program this on an SD card because I don't want to spend another $30 for cables to be able to program this thing. Yaesu, I love you. You have a great history of great radios, of which I have had many. And I'll tell you what, that 817 brought me so much joy. It really did. It was a fantastic radio. To me, one of the classic radios of all time. Right up there with the DM710 from Kenwood. That Yaesu FT817/818, what a great rig that was. Unfortunately, because of the chip fire, there wasn't any more available for it, so we had to suffer from that. And now we got to wait. You know, they're all tight-lipped. I've talked to some people from Yaesu that are at the Hamfest in Orlando. Try to play cool with them, try to slide them a few bucks, you know what I'm saying, getting hooked on fentanyl, see if they do anything. Just kidding about the fentanyl, that's not a joke. It's really bad in this country. I'm sorry. But I'm just saying, I tried everything I could to get these guys to talk. They wouldn't say nothing. But they are working on something. So I can't wait to see what replaces the FT-817, 818. I've seen some mock-ups on the computer there. It's pretty cool that people have come up with some of the mock-ups. But Yaesu, quality control number one. Let's work a little bit better on the quality control because I've seen a lot of reports of people sending radios back. The DX710. I'm so sorry, DX. The DX10. They've seen FT-DX10. They see they have some issues with it. You know, they've been sending them back and forth. Sensitive radios. I understand. Big technology in those babies. Just gotta make them tougher if you can. Make them a little bit tougher. You know, hey, God bless America. We're rough on our radios and we expect it. Like the FT-817, 818, getting back to a tough radio. You could have drop kicked that onto cement and that thing would still turn on and work fine. What a great radio. Can't tell you enough how much I love that rig. Why don't I have one? Because I sold it for something else. You know, it's the way I am. I keep it, I sell it. I keep it, I sell it, you know. But I get to dip my fingers in a lot. So here I am. I got my radio programmed. Got that little tiny switch with this wonderful tool right here. I wouldn't use a pencil. Too smooth. You want to get a good sharp tip just like that right there. And, you know, and I'm seriously, and you know what's really good about this? If you still are frustrated with trying to program or trying to flip the switch or whatever else, tiny little thing that Yaesu puts into it, you can take this and stab yourself in the head to get over the pain and agony of trying to deal with this micro stuff. But outside of that, I will say, Yaesu makes a great rig. All right, that's it. K4SRQ, you got it off the cuff. There it is. Have a great day. Thanks for viewing if you are. And they make a good radio. You know what I do wish, though, before I go? I do wish that they had put a full TNC in these things. I don't know how much difficult that is, if there's licensing issues or what. I don't know. But golly, guys, put a TNC in it. We use WinLink and things like that. So when you Chinese attack us, we got a way to communicate. I know that Yaesu's not Chinese, but you know what? Parts are made there. So just saying, it'd be great if they would put in a full TNC. Unfortunately, they don't. And if you're buying an FT-5D and you think you're going to get a TNC like me, you're wrong, okay? It ain't going to happen. It's not a TNC in there. It's an APRS TNC. Mr. Bob. All right, thanks so much. K4SRQ, and I am QRT.